The cold metal of the hospital bed felt harsh against my back as the sterile smell of disinfectant filled my nostrils. I could hear the beeping of the machines, a constant reminder that I was still alive, yet still so far from feeling alive. But it wasn't the pain that gripped MIT, was the shock, the betrayal. Can you imagine? After everything we had been through, being left in a sterile hospital room with nothing but my own thoughts, and all of it, all the lies, were unfolding. Right in front of me, Caitlin, my husband's voice echoed in my ears, but there was no comfort in it, no familiar warmth, just cold, hollow words. I can't do this anymore. I've found someone else. Someone I want to build a future with. It wasn't the first time I'd heard those words. But this time, it was different. This time, the words carried a weight, a finality. The way he said them, his voice distant, as though he was speaking to a stranger, made me realize that everything I had believed about our marriage, about us, had been a lie. My body was weak from the surgery. The stitches from my operation pulled every time I shifted, and the dull throb of my injury was a constant companion. But it wasn't the physical pain that made the tears come. It was the heart-wrenching truth that I had been nothing more than a stepping stone in his life. He didn't care about me. He never did. Take care of yourself, Caitlin. I'll be gone for a while, he said, his voice like ice. And then, without a second thought, he turned and left. I lay there, completely numb, staring at the ceiling. How could someone I had loved so deeply, shared every dream with, just walk out like that? How could he not even care that I was in pain, that I was alone? But there was something he didn't know, something that had been brewing quietly in the background of my life for months. I wasn't just Caitlin the housewife, the woman who waited for him to come home every night. I had been working on something monumental, something that could change everything. I had just signed a $10 billion deal, a deal that would secure my future, my freedom, and my peace. But none of that mattered. I was no longer focused on the money, on the success. All I could think about was how I had been discarded. And yet, even in the midst of all this pain, there was a flicker of something inside me, a small, quiet whisper that told me that this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. The days after were long and lonely, but there was a shift in me. In the stillness of my hospital room, I began to find pieces of myself I had forgotten. When the nurses came to check on me, I smiled, though it was forced at first. I knew that I had to stay strong, for my own sake, for my future. Then, one day, a woman came into my room, a woman I had never met before, a stranger. She had kind eyes, worn from experience, but warm and welcoming. She walked in, carrying a single bouquet of lilies, and sat down beside me. I heard about your husband, she said gently, placing the flowers on my bedside table. And I just wanted to let you know that there are people out there who care. You're not alone. At first, I was taken aback. Who was this woman? Why was she here? But then I realized her kindness wasn't motivated by anything other than pure compassion. She wasn't asking for anything in return. She wasn't trying to fix me. She was just there to remind me that I mattered. The next few days were a blur. Doctors came and went, and I had time to think, to process. I thought about my life, about everything I had worked so hard for, about how I had sacrificed so much to be there for him, for us. And yet, it was all slipping away. But then, the most unexpected thing happened. The woman who had brought me flowers came back, and this time, she brought with her a young man in his 20s, his eyes filled with determination and a spark of hope. I heard what happened, he said, sitting down beside me, and I think I can help. He was a lawyer, a young rising star, who had heard about my situation from the woman who had come earlier. He had seen the injustice, the cruelty, and he wanted to make things right. I want to help you take control of your life again. This $10 billion deal, let's make sure you don't let it slip through your fingers. It was a simple offer, but it felt like a lifeline. For the first time in days, I felt something other than sadness. Hope that I could rebuild, that I could take back what was mine. And so, with his help, I began to fight back. We started small, but we kept going, reaching out to people who could help me, who believed in me, who wanted to see me succeed. The journey wasn't easy. There were days when I wanted to give up, when the pain of what I had lost seemed too much to bear. But every time I thought I couldn't go on, I remembered that small flicker of hope, the kindness of strangers, of people who cared. Even when I had nothing left to give, months passed, and the deal was finalized. The money, the success, all came, just as I had hoped. But more importantly, I had gained something I had lost. I had gained my strength back, my sense of self, and through it all, I learned something powerful. Kindness is a force that can heal even the deepest wounds. I had been abandoned by the man I thought I would grow old with, but in his place, I had found something far more precious. I had found community. I had found hope. And most importantly, I had found the courage to move forward. Can you imagine how he felt? I asked the viewers, speaking directly to them. The man who left me behind, did he ever look back? Did he ever wonder if he made the right choice? I don't know. But what I do know is this: kindness, hope, and courage are the true drivers of change. And if we can find those within ourselves, there is nothing we can't overcome. As the camera zoomed out, I looked into the distance, my face serene but full of strength. If you've ever experienced betrayal or loss, know that you are not alone. There is always a way forward. And I want to hear your stories, your journeys of hope, healing, and kindness. Please, share them in the comments below. And remember to subscribe, because the next story, the next chapter, is just around the corner.